All right, this video is to help determine what type of elasticity a particular product is. So, one way to determine the type of elasticity, and remember, elasticity is going to be how sensitive we are to a change in price. Are we very sensitive or not very sensitive? So one way to determine type of elasticity is using what we call the total revenue test. So, how do you determine type of elasticity? So this, by the way, for your notes section, this is underneath. So capital letter A was the categories of elasticity, and then we went through 1, elastic, 2, and elastic 3, unit elastic. So now we're talking about how to determine type of elasticity. So one way to determine it is through what we call the total revenue test. Now, total revenue is the money made from selling a product. So total amount of money is made from selling product. So the total revenue test is going to be finding the total revenue, which is price times quantity, at 2 points on the demand curve, and then comparing them. So for example, if we're talking about total revenue is how much I totally make from selling a particular item. Let's say I'm selling t-shirts, and I'm selling t-shirts for 10 bucks a pop. So I'm going to sell them for $10 each, and I am going to sell 5 t-shirts. So if I'm selling them for $10 each, and I'm selling them, I sold 5 t-shirts, how much is my total revenue? Should be 50 bucks because 10 times 5. So total revenue is taking price times quantity, and then you're going to compare the total revenue at 2 points on your demand curve. So we'll look through an example. So we're first going to talk about what does it look like when a curve is elastic. So when you have a demand curve that is very elastic, when you compare 2 points on a demand curve, the total revenue and price are going to be inversely related between the 2 points. What does that mean? Well, inverse, indirect, opposite. So if you have the total revenue going up, your price is going to be going down. If the price is going to go up, total revenue will be going down. They're going in opposite directions. So I'm going to show you what I mean. I'm going to actually draw a graph here. Remember the adage of I draw a graph, you draw a graph. So I'm going to draw a graph here that is very elastic on purpose. So notice when I'm drawing my demand curve here, I have a demand curve that is almost completely horizontal. So it's almost completely horizontal. It's very flat, okay? Now, here's what's going to happen is that when you draw this, make sure you draw it correctly where it's almost completely horizontal. And then I'm going to pick out 2 points on my demand curve. So I'm going to pick out point A and point B. But I'm going to look at what's the price and quantity at each of those points. So at point A, I'm going to say the price is $25, and I'm going to say that 5 people are willing to buy this product. So if I want to figure out total revenue is going to be multiplying 25 times 5. So 25 times 5, total revenue is going to be 125. So now I got to figure out total revenue at point B. Well, for that information, I have to be able to, again, look at the price and the quantity. So price is going to be $20 at point B, and I'm going to have 15 people willing to buy this product. So what's the total revenue at point B? Hopefully you said 300. 15 times 20 is 300. So now what we're going to do is we're going to compare what happened to the price and the total revenue. Now, when you do this, what I suggest you do, and I always suggest this because this is hopefully helps people process, kind of do this little chart here. So go and do price, and you can do price and quantity, and then total revenue. It's hard to be able to write this here. Okay, so when we're looking and comparing this, at point A, okay, the price is $25 and the quantity is 5. So multiplying 5 times 25 gives us a total revenue of 125. Now, at point B, our price is $20 and our quantity is 15. So multiplying that out, 20 times 15 gives us a total revenue of 300. When you are determining what type of elasticity is, now that you've figured out your total revenue, you don't need quantity anymore. So I'm actually going to go and do this. I'm actually going to cross out my quantity, okay? Because otherwise it gets confusing to me. Because what happens is then I'll look at it and I'll say, oh wait, price went up, price went down, quantity went up. Oh, it must be elastic. No, you're not looking at the quantity anymore. You're looking at the price and the total revenue. Look at it this way. Now what happened to the price? Going from A to B, the price went down. Going from A to B, what happened to my total revenue? It went up. Because price and total revenue are going in opposite directions, that's why this is elastic curve. Okay, let's try looking at something that is inelastic. So, when we're talking about inelastic is going to be when the total revenue and the price are directly related, meaning they go in the same direction. So if one of them is going up, both going up. If one of them is going down, they're both going down. So again, I'm going to draw a graph. So this time, since elastic curve is very horizontal, what do you suppose an inelastic curve is going to look like? Really vertical, right? So really vertical. So when you're drawing this, and again, I draw a graph, you draw a graph. So when you're drawing this, make sure you draw it almost completely vertical. Now, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to go and pick out 2 points, point A, point B. So again, I got to know what's the price and what's the quantity. So at point A, the price is going to be $25 and the quantity is 5. Same as the last slide. So 25 times 5 will give us our total revenue of 125. Now point B, we're going to still have the price be $20, but look at how very little our quantity changed. So we're going to actually say the quantity at point B is 6. So 20 times 6 is a total revenue of 120. Now when you go and do this comparison, so now we're going to look at price, quantity, total revenue, and I would suggest you kind of do this chart to help you, remind you, okay? Now what we're doing is at point A, we see that the price is $25 and the quantity is 5. So the total revenue is 125. At point B, we notice that the price is $20 and the quantity is 6. So multiplying 20 times 6 is 120. Now, when you compare these, remember, we're crossing out the quantity. We don't need the quantity anymore. After we figure out our total revenue, we don't need the quantity column. So literally cross it out just to remind you, don't even look at it. So now we're looking at what happened to the price going from point A to point B. Now the price went down. What happened to our total revenue? Our total revenue went down from 125 to 120. So because total revenue and price are going in the same direction, then this is inelastic. All right, last, let's look at unit elastic. So unit elastic is going to be your favorite because unit elastic is when the total revenue stays the same between 2 points. So in this case, we are going to have total revenue be the exact same. The total revenue is going to be the exact same. We won't even bother looking at the price and the total revenue relationship. So for example, we're going to draw a graph again. So this time I'm going to draw a graph that is nice diagonal line, nice straight diagonal line. Again, I got to pick out 2 points. So I'm going to pick out point A and the price is going, and point B. So for point A, we're going to say the price is $25, and we're going to say that 8 people this time are going to buy this product. So figuring out total revenue, 25 times 8, total revenue of $200. At point B, we're going to say that the price is $20 and that we have 10 people willing to buy this product. So again, total revenue is 20 times 10, so 20 times 10 is 200. Since total revenue stayed the same, this is unit elastic. All right, that's the total revenue test to determine type of elasticity. Remember, this is not changing what the definition of elastic and inelastic and inelastic are. This is just helping you determine if it's what type it is. But if you have numbers, what if you don't have any numbers? Well, the next video is actually going to look at that. There's one other test. It's called the 3 questions test. So watch the next video to learn more.